went to school together, we all knew each other from a very young age. It all started off with pretty much guys handing out music to each other, listen to this band, listen to this band. Then we sort of said, let's form our own band, have a bit of fun, you know. And so we done that, we started learning instruments. We sort of assigned ourselves instruments to learn.
We're gonna have 3 guitarists, Ben, Aaron and me playing guitar at the time. But then I was waiting so long just to start lessons through where my brother went, so I go, stuff this, I'll just give drums a go. And haven't looked back ever since.
And yeah, it really took off from there. So we made up songs while we were young. 16, 17 years old, made up songs and been playing them for a while, and we decided to record them, and that's the songs on the first album.
Because these songs meant so much to us, we made them when we were young, wanted to get these out. We didn't record them straight away. It's because we just knew our ability wasn't there at the time, you know? So we gave that a few years, practiced the hell out of them, matured up as players. And we had newer songs, and people always just tell us, why don't you just, if these songs on the second album are going to be so good like you say, why don't you just ditch the other ones? And we couldn't do it.
And finally when it got released, people were really engaged in it. People were already knowing the lyrics once we released a couple of songs on the internet, and people just loved the energy of a traditional metal act. You know, we love bands like Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, you name it, we dug it. So yeah, it had a good reaction all around Australia, started making its way overseas. Next thing you know, we get an email from the guys over in Germany from Massacre Records saying that they're interested in putting out the album all around Europe, all around the world, which was really exciting for us and just gave us the fuel that we needed, that had to say, there's a bigger picture out there, there's a bigger crowd out there that want to see this type of music live, and we just had to push for that.
Okay, so after the whole recording process, we were obviously playing Melbourne and Australia a lot, and we decided to try Europe out after that, to expand over there and make a new fan base, make new contacts. And so in May of 2012, we went over to Europe.
We didn't know how to go about it. We had contacted all these booking agents overseas in Europe, and it was very hard. No one wanted to really give us a hand. As you guys know, there's probably not much money in the touring overseas, for an independent band like us.
The plan was to go there for 2 years on working visas, just so we can be close to Europe instead of spending all the money, dropping 2-3 grand every time you're going to do a show, so you're better off just staying close. So that was the idea, to work down there. And then so we'd done that, and to say goodbye to family and friends was the hardest part,
Yeah, it was a very sad time for me. But on the other hand, on the upside, it was a very exciting time, because it was like, a whole new life going over there, What are we going to expect? Is it going to be good? Is it going to be bad? It was that element of excitement, of not knowing what's coming.
It was really hard, but we kept it going, and we said no matter what the challenges were, we were going to tackle them with full force, and just so we could play some metal music to the people out there that wanted to hear it. When we first landed in Europe, we got there in Austria. We had a show, or 2 shows in Austria, which was going to kick off the tour. It was just, from the beginning, I knew it was going to be a big challenge, and it was almost a nightmare. Doing it by yourselves, it's not the best sort of situation.
When that first show came, which was in Liedersdorf, it was something else. Like, I personally was very nervous at the start, and just when getting up on the stage after that, it was you're back in your element, sort of thing. You've been here before, even though you're in a foreign country. Your surroundings when you're playing, sort of thing. It's the same everywhere, I suppose.
Someone just had set up a venue in their backyard, so it was a really cozy sort of atmosphere in the middle of nowhere. But we knew straight away this was going to be a challenge, and the shows that we booked probably weren't as expected. But you know, the people that were there, the passion that people showed in the music was crazy.
Well, the hardest thing for me on the road, especially for the first time, was because I was the only driver. You know, given that drums is a physical instrument, and then to do a show in Germany, then drive 8 hours to Switzerland or to Poland, wherever it was, the next day and play that following night, that took a toll. You know, it's like pull over every servo you can and get a Red Bull. You know, that's all you can do. Sleep for 10 minutes and go again.
So it took its toll on him over the course of the time we spent there. And because you're playing, you're driving, playing, driving consistently, and obviously it's going to wear you out. And then there was the other things of just not having the funds to do stuff that you would normally do, and yeah, it was just in general very hard just to live. It was very hard.
The changing moment for me was when we went over to Germany for the first time, and we did a show at this local festival called the Bavarian Metalheads Open Air, which was smaller independent sort of festivals. They saw some headliners. Old school cool German band called Scanner was headlining one of the nights, and we came over on the Saturday not expecting anything. From Australia you only get the one sort of big metal festival, but when we came up, we came up to the car park and I saw the big tent. You see all the people, you hear all the music, and for the first time in my life I thought, cool, this is what everybody was talking about.
Just the crowd attendance that were there, the way how people just stayed for us, and then once we were finished they're just at the bar with us, with the merch stand, signing CDs, taking photos. One of the other great things that I enjoyed, actually, I'm sure the boys did too, when we were signing, we just thought, yeah, photos and CDs, but a few girls came up to us and they signing cleavages and that, and it's like, fuck man, this is Happy Gilmore stuff, like Adam Sandler signing titties in his movies, and you watch that as a kid and you think, wow, that's cool, and then to go to a country where you think no one knows you, but people are turning up and you're doing that, it's fucking mad, let's hurry up and get this next album out and do it again, so go on tour again, but that was cool.
That night was a big challenge. We ended up sleeping in a car park in Munich because we couldn't get accommodation at like 3 a.m. So I remember we went into an underground car park and we slept there and then drove to Poland, I think the next day.
We don't know nothing about the fans down there, but when we played in Szczecin, it was like at the Blues Club, and I don't know, 50 to 100 people, whatever. We thought it was going to be a stock standard show, but mate, the way they get into it is just something different. They just go crazy. We didn't expect that, and we just thought, oh, it's probably just one show out of the 5 in Poland that we're doing. These guys set the bar, but then every show just kept on getting bigger and bigger. And when we done Gdynia, which I think was the following night, on Tuesday, that was unreal.
It was an all-ages show, and it was just it was sort of like a hall where we played. It was massive. Like just the energy that we got off the crowd, as we were playing was awesome. Like these are people who don't even speak the same language as us, but still they're communicating with us,
We started off in Birmingham, I remember, after Italy. It wasn't the most glorious of welcomings to the UK. We stayed in a little hostel and we sort of didn't know where to go from there. We didn't know where to buy a house, or rent a house, sorry. Where to rent a house, where to find jobs, etc. So slowly we made our way and migrated over to London.
We've got a place to stay in a little room, 4 of us there, 2 bunk beds, little bathroom, nowhere to walk past each other, just constantly in each other's face. But yeah, then we finally got work. A couple months into it, started working. I was working Darren for a couple of weeks doing construction, and then he went somewhere else, and I stayed where I was, getting £5 an hour. You got to work 63 hours a week, which was the max I could work there, just to cover everything.
It was hard times. We were eating pasta for a good a good 5 months, I think, solid Monday to Sunday. We just ate pasta with basic sauce. You know, we weren't chefs of any type. We couldn't afford proper food, and that was just a lifestyle. You know, pasta, sauce, TV, work for £7 an hour, no luxuries.
But then there was some times where we couldn't even play a show because we didn't have the transport, we didn't have the, you know, funds to do it, and, you know, stuff like that. Like gigs we were playing, local gigs we were playing in London, we were using the tube, we were using the train. So everyone's lugging gear on the train, and peak hour trains, standing shoulder to shoulder with people and gear and trying to get out of the doors. It wasn't fun.
We had scattered shows here and there, which some were cool. You know, we did a tour with Warbringer, a cool band over from the States, and we played all around the UK with them, and went over to Ireland with them, and in came in Gamma Bomb from Ireland with shows over there, which were a big learning curve for us. They took us under their wings, sort of like father figures, you know, like big brothers to us, and showed us all the ropes for the touring and what we sort of did wrong on the European tour. But they were some of the best shows I've ever played in my whole life.
One of my highlight shows was actually supporting a band called Howl, which is Andy Sneap's band, where we played in Ireland. Just, you know, supporting your band, supporting an idol of yours, sort of thing. Someone you look up to, someone who produces some of the biggest bands now that we listen to, and also has his own stuff. That was exciting for me personally, and I'm sure the other guys felt the same. But like, just to support a band who was very professional, had a awesome, you know, stage show, and, you know, just to be a part of that, it sort of sets the bar for what you want to do, and it gives you, you know, a goal for you to achieve.
All right, so we started wrapping up our time in England around about November. We knew a couple of months before we were coming back to Australia, and we had return tickets, so we're ready to make a big comeback in our hometown, Melbourne. So we played one last show in London over at this cool place in Camden called the Barfly. We had known these Canadian sort of traditional metal bands for a while, and one of the big names to come out of them was Cauldron. So when we got offered the support for that, we were glad to jump on.
So we played there. We're on stage probably 10-15 minutes after the doors open, so we're thinking, fuck man, no one's gonna be there, this and that, we're just gonna be playing in front of an empty room. But our people turned up, which we saw during the set, and it lifted up our spirits, you know. But you'll sit there and play in front of no one, you don't care, you love it, but you know, it's your last show, you wanna you know, put on a show in front of somebody. But it ended up being a good show, a good turnout for how much people they can fit in 15 minutes, you know. So, and then we came back to Australia in December, just with high hopes of his next album, you know. Just hoping to get writing. There was thoughts of replacing a member.
And we brought in a cool bass player, a friend of ours for a long time, Anthony Longordo, joined the band.
One of the first times I met Anthony was, he came up to me after a show, and he's like, "Oh, that was cool, man. You know what you guys should cover? Phantom of the Opera by Iron Maiden." And I knew straight away this guy, you know, he's into his older sort of stuff, and he's into his traditional metal. And, you know, as the lineup change happened, he just seemed to be the best in line, you know.
Just when we first met him, he was always enthusiastic. We knew he loved his metal, you know. He always used to dish us a million bands. He used to find that on YouTube and all those kind of places, you know. And like, fuck, these guys are cool, this and that. Check these guys out. He was a cool dude. I considered him a brother, and like the first month I met him, just clicked like that, you know. That's when you know that you got a good connection.
Well, yeah, we're friends for a while, been friends for a number of years now, and the whole new member came into play, and I had recently left my band at the time, and I guess everything just aligned up, and it was one of those meant to be situations. And I think I got a call from Tom, and he filled me in on the situation. So I went down to his, we had a bit of a jam, and it felt good, and we all felt we were vibing well, so went from there. In terms of writing, I want to put forward a lot of my ideas, and I want to work with the guys, and I want to create some really memorable albums. And I think we're all on the same page with that, and it's been going really well with the second album now, and I think we're going to have a really bright future.
The love and the support that all the people, if you're a fan, if you're a friend, if you just came out to a local metal show, it's something else. It really is. We were 16 when we started this, and we were just in high school. But if you told us that at the age of 23 we're going to be going out there and people are wanting you to sign the CD, people are buying your merch, people are jumping off the stage, starting mosh pits and all that sort of thing, I would have never believed it.
That's why, that's half the reason why we're breaking a sweat up there, is because we give them a show and they're just throwing us energy back, and just back and forth, back and forth. But they're just great, and we do this, we've done this for ourselves from the start, but now it's becoming for them too, So we want to stick to our roots, but at the same time mature up with our future music.
Our fans are very, very enthusiastic, very loyal, I'd say, and very energetic. That's the first few words that pop into my head. Like I said, random people who I don't know coming up to you and just asking you to sign something, or you just going out and somebody coming up to you and saying, "Oh, you're from Elm Street," yeah, I've seen you guys play this, so just little things like that. It's great. I love it.
So coming in as a new member, you do have a very unique perspective of the band. Being a fan, a huge fan too, of a band that you're now a part of, it does definitely offer a different insight, and you see the band differently to the rest of the band, because you were on the other side of the stage for so long, and you get the different energy this time. You're getting it from the crowd, and you're now playing on stage, and it felt very surreal, and it was awesome just to be on the other side of the stage with the guys finally, and to be rocking out with them. It was sick. And just with metal fans in general, what we make up, what we lack in quantity compared to more sort of commercially accessible music, we make up for in just loyalty, commitment. And we don't just live it on the weekends, we live it our entire lives. It's a day-to-day thing, this is what we love, this is what we do, and it's a part of your identity. It is your identity, and we just love it, and we just want to do it forever.
I would have never thought that people would actually want to buy our music, people would actually want to pay entry to go to our shows, people would write on our pages saying, "We can't wait to see you guys, can't wait to hear new music." It's refreshing, and it's something that for the rest of our lives we'll be forever grateful for, and we can't wait to keep on doing it. The future's bright, the future's going to be really heavy for us, so it's cool.